Tonight on Ctv3 News, law enforcement refrains from charging suspect in Carnival Day stabbing of 23-year-old Alwyn Arnold after receiving directives from the DPP. Guatemala commits to upholding ICJ ruling in Belize territorial dispute. Cops investigate fraudulent birth certificates. And Belize exports drop by 39% while consumer prices increased by 3.1%. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Wednesday, September 25th, 2024. Good evening. With your news also simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7, I am Joanna Rodriguez. Tonight, all indications is that the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution will not proceed with charges against the person who inflicted the stab wound on 23-year-old Alwyn Arnold on Independence Day. The person, as confirmed by the Commissioner of Police, is currently in police custody and has indicated that Arnold was the one who aggressed him on the night of the incident. The detained person told police that on the night of the stabbing, he was walking on the street with two female individuals when Arnold hurled an insult at him. He responded, which caused Arnold to chase after him. As we told you earlier this week, police got a hold of decisive evidence in the case showing that Arnold was involved in a physical altercation with the male individual who later inflicted the stab wound which claimed his life.
We have that person in custody and the persons that were with him when the incident occurred. And indeed, Alwyn Arnold was the aggressor. The victim was walking in the company of two Hispanic women, and Alwyn Arnold shouted out to him that he's a Spanish, he can handle the two women there, and the young man answered, and Alwyn chased him for whatever reason, and there was a scuffle. The young man was able to get away, and he was chased again by Alwyn, who caught up with him, and again it was when the young man inflicted the stab wound to Alwyn. So by all indications, he is the aggressor. We have put together the file and we have submitted it to the DPP office for guidance on that matter.
As we reported previously, 23-year-old Belize City resident Alwyn Collins Arnold was killed shortly after 9 p.m. following the parade. He was stabbed once to the abdomen, and while attempts were made to save his life, he succumbed while receiving treatment at the Northern Regional Hospital. The Commissioner of Police, Chester Williams, has made it public that he is not satisfied with recent decision by a sitting magistrate to fine 46-year-old Jaron McKay, a Belizean American, for assaulting him during the Orange Walk Carnival. Williams stresses that McKay seemed to have been showing off on Carnival Day and that he had to restrain himself from clubbing McKay with a baton for assaulting him despite being dressed in his police uniform. According to Williams, he had approached McKay during the carnival and asked him to hand over a pint bottle that he was consuming beer out of. However, instead of complying, McKay pushed his hands away. When he approached the second time requesting the bottle, Williams said that McKay shoved him away and then grabbed him by the shirt. He recounted, "The officer I was with came in between, held onto him, and while the officer was holding onto him, he continued to hold on to my shirt and say, 'I want him.' I don't know what he wanted me for. But he said he wanted me. I just continued to keep my cool until he was able to let go of my shirt. Other officers came and we were able to handcuff him and put him in the vehicle and took him away to the police station. While McKay later claimed that he did not know that Williams was the commissioner of police, Williams argued that he was in his police uniform. He also commented that if McKay had assaulted an officer in the U.S., he would not have been alive to tell the tale. The commissioner said that he was of the view that McKay should have been jailed instead of fined $1,500, which he considered a slap on the wrist. Tonight we have 3 alleged cases of rape to report on, and this time it also involves a minor. The alleged victim is a 17-year-old student who has accused her school director of rape. She told police that on Monday, September 16th, around 9 p.m., the school's director drove her to an unknown location in Belmopan City where he had sexual intercourse with her against her will. The police department is now investigating the alleged rape and are looking for the accused. And in a separate incident, a 13-year-old was allegedly also sexually violated. The details of this case are just being unraveled, but we understand that the incident happened in the village of Keycocker earlier this week. And the third alleged case of rape has to do with a 27-year-old woman who told cops that she was sleeping at her friend's house in the Belize district when the alleged perpetrator forcefully had sex with her. Police have one suspect they are looking for. A jockey from Orange Walk is out on bail after pleading not guilty to wounding a 16-year-old boy. He is 27-year-old Jason Joseph Logan. The incident allegedly stemmed from a misunderstanding related to a horse race and a prior murder in Orange Walk earlier this year. Logan appeared in Belize City Magistrates Court this morning facing charges of wounding. According to allegations, on Sunday, September 22, 2024, at Castleton Heights Entertainment in Borough Boom, Logan assaulted the minor, causing injuries to his forehead. In court, Logan, who was unrepresented, denied the charges and expressed fear for his life, claiming the assault was connected to the murder of his godfather, which he witnessed. He told the court that he has been in hiding due to the threats on his life and made serious allegations about individuals who he believes are out to harm him. Logan stated that despite reporting being run over by someone close to the murder case, no action has been taken by police. The magistrate recorded Logan's concerns and advised him to seek legal counsel and file a formal complaint with law enforcement. Logan was granted bail of $1,000, which he met. He is due back in court on November 22, 2024. The 16-year-old victim, accompanied by his mother, reported to police that after participating in a horse race, Logan struck him in the head with a rope clip, causing multiple cuts. Police later arrested Logan at the scene. The Belize Police Department has been conducting investigations at the request of the Vital Statistics Unit, the VSU, the Ministry of Immigration, and the Social Security Board in relation to a number of documents which purport to be genuine birth certificates but are not. One of these documents were issued or printed by the VSU, according to information that was confirmed by the unit's IT department, which scrubbed the documents to determine whether they were generated from the VSU system. We understand that currently persons are being interviewed, statements have been given, and charges are forthcoming. Further security measures have since been implemented at the VSU, Ministry of Immigration, and Social Security Board. According to a release from GOB, these measures cannot be disclosed for obvious reasons. The release further states that the ongoing VSU digitalization project will strengthen the department's systems and reduce the potential for incidents like these. The VSU, Ministry of Immigration, and the Social Security Board assured the Belizean public that further measures have been taken to preserve the integrity of the systems in place. Belizeans are urged not to engage in the dealing or procuring of fraudulent documents, as it's only a matter of time before these acts are uncovered and prosecuted. Coming up next, Guatemala commits to upholding ICJ ruling in Belize territorial dispute. Stay tuned.
This plan, I can't leave this plan. Smart Belize!
Hey there, smart thinkers! We're turbocharging your mobile experience with Smart's powered up postpaid plans. Imagine a world where your data speeds flows faster than ever. Well, guess what? We've cranked up the dial and unleashed the postpaid power of Smart's lightning fast LTE data on all our postpaid plans. That's right, no speed bumps, more data. It's like having a limitless highway of data speed at your fingertips. Whether you're a Lone Ranger with an individual plan or a squad rolling with a group plan, everyone gets to surf, stream, and share at enhanced, full, high-quality speed. Switch to Smart's powered-up postpaid plans today and ride the wave of postpaid power. Visit any Smart showroom or smart-bz.com for details and make your mobile experience smarter and faster. Smart, bringing people together.
I know I can't leave this plan. I can't leave this plan.
It's a historic day for Dangriga, for the country of Belize. We have been waiting for 24 years to open this port.
Today, with the collaboration of the government of Belize, I am pleased to welcome you to this groundbreaking ceremony to mark the rejuvenation of the Port of Commerce Bight and the return of commerce through tourism in Dangriga. The reopening of this port under Southern Deep Port Development Limited will see significant employment, planned for over 100 employees during the 3-year construction period and over 60 full-time employees thereafter, impacting the well-being of the Dangriga and surrounding communities.
We brought some consultants from the Bahamas who has done this in several Caribbean islands, and they went all across the country, and when they came back they signaled Commerce Bight as being one of the areas with the greatest potential for packet cruises and nautical tourism.
Any developing country or developed country, for there to be long-term development, there has to be a good port. We're going to work with you, that we're going to ensure that this is a success, because your success is our success, it is Belize's success.
We're calling it a multi-purpose park because it will have a variety of services and amenities. So right to my left here will be a state-of-the-art parking lot. Immediately in front of that, in 2 acres, we will have a hotel and convention center. Then on this side here, it's going to be recreational areas. On the northeast side, we're going to have an amphitheater for musicians so that persons visiting could have high-quality entertainment with our well-known artists in Dangriga.
With this project, it gives the community an opportunity to work, to invest, to grow. More revenues for the town council. That means more streets, more drains, more parks, more playgrounds. The economy grows.
All of us have collaborated on making this a reality, and certainly this will have a huge impact in terms of employment, in terms of quality of life.
This evening, when we're looking at the park and the multi-purpose use of this park, this green area, and convert it to a park, again, it has to do with people, that they could bring people together.
During his debut address at the United Nations General Assembly, Guatemalan President Bernardo Arevalo expressed a commitment to peacefully resolve the long-standing territorial dispute with Belize. He reassured the international community of Guatemala's dedication to abiding by the International Court of Justice (ICJ) decision regarding the insular and maritime borders between the two nations. According to Arevalo, the process will ensure a just and lasting solution that respects the dignity and rights of both nations, setting a precedent for peaceful conflict resolution in the region.
Madam Vice President, before this General Assembly, I would like to reaffirm the commitment of Guatemala to permanently and in a lasting manner resolve before the International Court of Justice the insular and maritime and territorial dispute with the brotherly country and neighborly country of Belize. By opting for dialogue and the international legal mechanisms, we have demonstrated that peaceful means and respect for multilateral institutions are the most effective way to resolve disputes between countries. We are confident that this process will make it possible to bring about a just and lasting solution that respects the rights and dignity of both countries. This act is an act of faith, of our faith in international law and our commitment to lasting peace, not only for Guatemala and Belize, but also as an example for the region and for the world.
During his address, President Arevalo also announced that his country will deploy 150 military police officers to support Haiti in its fight against violent gangs. This decision comes as a UN-backed mission, currently led by Kenyan police officers, faces challenges related to personnel and funding. However, Arevalo did not provide details on the timeline for the deployment of the military police. Currently, there are nearly 400 Kenyan officers in Haiti, in addition to approximately 24 personnel from Jamaica and 2 senior military officers from Belize who arrived earlier this month. The mission aims to have a total of 2,500 personnel, with further contributions expected from the Bahamas, Bangladesh, Barbados, Benin, and Chad, although the exact timing of their deployments remains uncertain. Orange Kenyans, particularly the business community, is invited to attend a very special town hall meeting tonight at 7 at the Central Park. The meeting is being hosted by the Orange Walk Town Council in collaboration with the Ministry of Rural Transformation, Community Development, Labor, and Local Government in an effort to educate the general public about the new regime being implemented under the Trade Licensing Act. The new method, according to Director of Local Government Clifford King, will allow businesses the ability to access a more modern and standardized system.
All right, thank you so much for having me. So tonight, the Orange Walk Town Council is hosting a town hall meeting, a public meeting, and the primary purpose of the meeting is for us to have a discussion with the general public and particularly the business community on the rollout of the new trade licensing regime. As you will know, business people in Orange Walk know that they are all required to apply for an annual trade license to conduct business in the town. And so we have recently, after many years of consultations and discussions with the wider public, the business community, we have now some new provisions in the Trade Licensing Act that really has allowed us to, quote unquote, repeal and replace the existing law. And the intent, the spirit of the new legislation is to provide an enabling space for businesses to operate in a more predictable, transparent, stable business environment as it relates to trade licensing. And so what we want to do tonight is to discuss with the public what are the key salient elements of the new regime that will facilitate the ease of administrating and managing trade licensing in the municipality, and particularly for Orange Walk tonight.
Tonight's meeting will give the licensing board an opportunity to answer any questions which the general public may have regarding the implementations and benefits of the new regime.
I think that one of the most salient point is the fact that businesses, for their purposes, can predict what their trade licensing will be like from a year-to-year basis. So we're, in the new provisions, providing elements for predictability so that as a business person, essentially you can calculate your own trade licensing fee. Once you know what are those elements of the calculation that you are to have, and those elements will be published, so they'll be accessible to the business or to the businesses. Like for example, there'll be established rates for a 3-year period. There is a zone map that will show that where different businesses are located. There is a related trade matrix that shows that as you go from a particular high zone to a low zone, the cost per square footage changes. It gets lower actually. And so once you have those elements for the calculation of the fee, you can do it yourself. We're also digitizing this process, and so you'll be able to do this through electronic means. We are creating provisions for the automatic approval of applications. One of the things that we have always heard is that people take long to get their trade license because the board never meet. The board is not meeting, and they have to pay for a special meeting of the board. So we're creating a list of low-risk businesses that are eligible for automatic approvals. And so there are some very key elements that are being provided for in this new piece of legislation, and we want to be able to discuss these things, share with the public tonight. So we're hoping that we get good turnout. We were in Corozal last night, and we got excellent turnout. We were very pleased with the turnout from Corozal and the kind of engagement. And I think that we walked away from the meeting last night with people feeling a safe sense that the new rollout of the trade licensing regime is more about how do we enable a type of environment for businesses that they can grow without having to worry that annually somebody is going to come and assess me. Because whatever you pay in year 1, for example, it's what you will pay in year 2 and year 3. And so we have those kinds of stability in the new regime.
As previously mentioned, the public meeting is being hosted at the Central Park starting at 7 p.m. The Statistical Institute of Belize today held its quarterly press conference where they presented the country's current economic outlook. The presentation centered on the gross domestic product estimates of the second quarter, as well as the consumer price index and the external trade data from January to August of 2023. The SIB first took a look at the GDP for 2023, which saw an estimate of $5.119 billion, which was an increase of 1% when compared to 2022.
Goods and services produced total $5.119 billion. This is an increase of $53.5 million or 1.1% when compared to 2022. So looking at the table provided at the bottom, we have the annual of 2022 and the annual of 2023. So we can compare at the top the GDP with the growth of 1.1%. Then we saw decreases across some of the crops, including the big tree crops, which led to a 6.6% decline from $521.5 million in 2022 to $486.9 million in 2023. Then, if we have declines in primary, that will lead to some declines in manufacturing, and we also had a decline in electricity. So secondary went down by 1.9%. However, tertiary went up by 3.5%, and taxes went down by 0.9%.
Look at the gross domestic product for the second quarter of 2024 from April to June. The SIB is reporting that the economy grew by 10.5%.
Now, looking at the second quarter of 2024, the goods and services produced in that period totaled $1.432 billion. This is an increase of $135.9 million or 10.5% when we compare that to the second quarter of 2023. The primary economic growth drivers were the tertiary sector industries, including wholesale and retail trade, accommodation and food services, as well as transportation. However, growth was shown across all three sectors.
In the different sectors, the primary sector saw growth of 5.6%, while secondary sector experienced growth of 8.4%, and the tertiary growing by 10.5%.
So the primary sector was valued at $107.8 million. That is an increase of $5.8 million or 5.6% when we compare that to the $102.1 million in quarter 2 of 2023. Agriculture, forestry, and fishing went up by 12.4%. Meanwhile, mining went down by 25.8%. As we saw increases in the three main crops and poultry, that drove the growth for agriculture. So moving into sugarcane, like we stated in the annual, the primary sector was down. So 2023 was a bad year for the three main crops, all three increases. So now we're looking at an increase of 14.1% for sugarcane from 647.8 thousand metric tons to 739.2 thousand metric tons, as we have an improvement in the weather conditions compared to 2023. Overall, the secondary sector was valued at $210.8 million. This is an increase of $16.4 million or 8.4% when we compare that to $194.4 million in quarter 2 of 2023. We saw growth across all the industries that fall within the secondary sector. Manufacturing went up by 0.8%, construction by 7.3%, electricity by 45.5%, and water by 22.9%.
Consumer Price Index for the first 8 months of 2024, Belizeans are experiencing an inflation rate of 3.8%, with all major categories experiencing an increase during the period. During their presentation today, the SIB confirmed that while there have been some decrease this year, prices remain relatively higher for 2024 than 2025, particularly in areas of food and fuel.
Where we have the sector valued at $911.8 million. This is an increase of $87 million or 10.5% when we compare that to the $824.8 million in quarter 2 of 2023. The main drivers in the services, as we stated at the beginning, we have wholesale and retail trade that went up by 23.1%. We had transportation by 29.9%, accommodation and food service activities by 33%. All right, so these are all the industries that fall under services. And then I highlighted the ones that really drove the growth.
To Belize's external trade, imports for the period January to August 2024 increased by 8% or $144 million.
All right, so now looking at the period of interest, the cumulative inflation rate for the first 8 months of the year 2024 compared
where we have the sector valued at $911.8 million. This is an increase of $87 million or 10.5% when we compare that to the $824.8 million in quarter 2 of 2023. The main drivers overall, the secondary sector was valued at $210.8 million. This is an increase of $16.4 million or 8.4% when we compare that to $194.4 million in quarter 2 of 2023. We saw growth across all the industries that fall within the secondary sector. Manufacturing went up by 0.8%, construction by 7.3%, electricity by 45.5%, and water by 22.9%.
Experts on a decrease of 1.5%. That decrease is due to several factors, including reduced exports in sugar, citrus, and marine products, as well as earnings from molasses exports, red kidney beans, and animal feed.
Now let's look at our domestic exports. Total domestic exports for the first 8 months of the year amounted to $307.1 million, down 1.5% or $4.7 million when compared to exports of the first 8 months of 2023. Now, let's look at the products that contributed to this overall decrease for the period. We can see that sugar and animal feed were the primary drivers of the overall decline, with sugar earnings falling by nearly 20%, from $136.9 million to $118.4 million. Similarly, revenues from animal feed experienced a substantial decrease, dropping by $17.4 million from $27.4 million to $9.9 million. On the other hand, we can see a strong performance of bananas during the period, which helped to minimize the overall decline.
Across all major destinations, exports to the European Union and Central American experienced declines during this period, while exports to the UK and US markets saw market increases.
We observed that due to decreased exports of mainly sugar, earnings from the European Union went down by $39.9 million, from $71.9 million to $31.9 million. Animal feed purchases by Central American countries saw a decline of $20 million during the period, dropping from $34.2 million to $14.2 million. Earnings from the United Kingdom, on the other hand, recorded a significant increase of $32.5 million, from $66.6 million to $99.1 million, on account to higher purchases of sugar and bananas from this region. Purchases of molasses and sugar from the United States of America recorded a rise for the period, with sales to this country rising by $20.4 million, from $61.4 million to $81.4 million.
And there is more news after the break. Stay tuned.
Pro SC is here on Saturday, September 28th. Pro SC invades the Bay City with Pro SC 13, Paris versus Rubio, inside the Corozal Civic Center in Corozal Town. The main event is the long-anticipated showdown between undefeated Pro FC Bantamweight champion Jalen Paris versus undefeated featherweight knockout king Javon Rubio. We also have 9 other exciting MMA fights, including 2 more championship fights and a special international female MMA fight. Doors open at 6:30 p.m. and the event starts at 7:30 p.m. sharp. General admission tickets are only $25 and VIP tickets are $70 available at the Centaur Cable Network Corozal office. Early ticket booth the day of the event. Pro FC, Belize Premier MMA League. Pro FC 13, live exclusively on Channel 53 of Centaur and the Express Plus app. Pro FC
is brought to you by Smart, bringing people together, the Corozal Town Council, and Express Plus app, streaming entertainment.
This plan, I can't leave this plan. Smart, Belize.
Hey there, smart thinkers. We're turbocharging your mobile experience with Smart's powered up postpaid plans. Imagine a world where your data speed flows faster than ever. Well, guess what? We've cranked up the dial and unleashed the postpaid power of Smart's lightning-fast LTE data on all our postpaid plans. That's right, no speed bumps, more data. It's like having a limitless highway of data speed at your fingertips. Whether you're a lone ranger with an individual plan or a squad rolling with a group plan, everyone gets to surf, stream, and share at enhanced, full, high-quality speed. Switch to Smart's powered-up postpaid plans today and ride the wave of postpaid power. Visit any Smart showroom or smart-bz.com for details and make your mobile experience smarter and faster. Smart, bringing people together.
I know I can't let this blind. I can't let this blind.
My name is Stacey Badillo. This is my sister Gina Badillo, and we've been owners of this business for the past 19 years. It is called Purple Passion Studio and Spa, and we're located in Keycocker, Belize. I've been part of the credit union for 12 years, and Gina for 19 years. Professionally, it's allowed us for our business to grow, and our careers has grown as well.
We have had great customer service at Credit Union.
They're exceptional.
Yes.
For this small island, it's very important, but for our small business, it's even more important. It has changed our lives, the lives of our children, of our families.
I highly recommend St. Francis Credit Union to my children, to my family, to my clients, to everyone that is around me, that it's always the number one.
It's a historic day for Dangriga, for the country of Belize. We have been waiting for 24 years to open this port.
Today, with the collaboration of the government of Belize, I am pleased to welcome you to this groundbreaking ceremony to mark the rejuvenation of the Port of Commerce Bight and the return of commerce through tourism in Dangriga. The reopening of this port under Southern Deep Port Development Limited will see significant employment, planned for over 100 employees during the 3-year construction period and over 60 full-time employees thereafter, impacting the well-being of the Dangriga and surrounding communities.
We brought some consultants from the Bahamas who has done this in several Caribbean islands, and they went all across the country, and when they came back, they signaled Commerce Bight as being one of the areas with the greatest potential for packet cruises and nautical tourism.
Any developing country or developed country, for there to be long-term development, there has to be a good port. We're going to work with you, that we're going to ensure that this is a success, because your success is our success, it is Belize's success.
Peace Corp is an international name that has existed for decades. In Belize, they have been around for 63 years and counting. Their main objective globally is to bring about peace and provide assistance where necessary. And today, in a very special event, Peace Corp volunteers presently in Belize, along with partners, gathered for a service summit. Zesting the day with hope was USC Ambassador to Belize, Michelle Kwan, who has lived a life of service before taking office in Belize. During her address, Kwan highlighted the importance Peace Corp's work around the world has had. But the summit itself was organized to create engagements on current issues that need to be addressed in Belize, including investment in people to get lasting results.
So we've called it our Service Summit, and the key audience was our volunteers and the partners that we work with here in country. We saw it as a unique opportunity to bring together everybody who's got a stake in the work we do, and to put some fuel into those folks, feed them with good keynotes, opportunities to have workshops and talk about current issues, and just really just kind of fuel up this partnership network. The mission of the U.S. Peace Corps is world peace and friendship. It's quite easy, actually. Easy to say, not so easy to do. We've been in over 60 countries for over 60 years. We've actually been in Belize for 62 years. And we bring people. We don't bring money. We don't bring things. We bring human beings and we put them in communities. They stay for up to 27 months. They learn the language, they learn the food, they understand what the community's needs are, and then they try to be a technical resource for communities. So we do grassroots development. This afternoon we'll have 2 sessions of workshops. Each session, 3 workshops will run concurrently. So volunteers and our counterparts will have an opportunity to attend 2 workshops this afternoon, 1 in each session. And we've got some great leaders. Minister Habet is going to lead a conversation on climate change. Senator Koye is going to lead a conversation on transformative partnerships. Deborah Sewell from Love Foundation is going to talk about grassroots ownership and inclusivity. So there are just all kinds of things that people are going to talk about. Our partners from UNICEF are going to talk about generational impact. It's just an awesome set of conversations. And the volunteers will break up, so each group might have 20 people in it at a time, but it will be an opportunity for digging deeper into some of the themes that got raised today.
Linda Lee Williams is the program manager for Peace Corps Belize, and her primordial role is engaging young people in sports by providing support to the educational institutions they attend. She spoke about her participation at the summit today.
So for the Ministry of Youth Development and Transport, one of the things that they had expressed to us is the desire to create a whole athlete, so not just athletic skills but also life skills. And so we are trying as much as possible with our YES project to implement sports club at schools that incorporate life skills. So things that young athletes need, like teamwork, conflict resolution, being leaders, leadership. We support the staff at primary schools so that they can enter the National Sports Council tournaments and perform not only as great athletes but children of character. On the Ministry of Education side, we have a physical education curriculum that our sports clubs do support in terms of teaching skills, but also supporting those schools in entering the primary school tournaments. I think the work is really important because we're kind of filling a gap, but also empowering and lifting up local voices. So volunteers work in schools along with locals. They always have to work with a local counterpart. So for our YES project, for example, they may be working with a sports coach. And that coach, maybe they've been discouraged, unmotivated for a while. A volunteer can come in, provide that extra human resource, bring up the energy, the standards. And because they work across different schools across the country, we get a kind of view that's very unique. We get to see different types of work that people do across different types of schools, denominations, rural, city. And then when we come together, we can share that unique perspective with our partners. And so it's impactful at a government level, at a district municipality level, but also on the ground, grassroots, working with local Belizeans every day.
The Ministry of Rural Transformation, Community Development, Labor and Local Government handed over 477 water meters and corresponding plumbing fixtures to representatives of water boards from villages in the Cayo, Stan Creek and Toledo districts. Valued at 123,000 Belize dollars, this equipment will allow each recipient water board to connect households in their community to the village water system. The meters will allow for expansion through new connections, installations, water regulation, and conservation, which will help each water board improve its efforts at self-sustainability. This donation is part of a recent acquisition of 1,300 water meters, which the ministry is distributing to water boards countrywide. The ministry continues to work towards its mission of ensuring that Belizeans in rural communities have reliable access to potable water in their homes. And we end tonight's newscast with some good news for seafood lovers. The conch season will officially open from October 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2025. The public is advised that if the conch production quota is realized earlier, the conch season will be declared closed. Fisheries regulations that relate to queen conch are as follows. 1. No person shall take in the waters of Belize or buy, sell, or have in his possession any conch between the 1st of July to 30th of September, inclusive in any year. B, at any point count the overall shell length of which does not exceed 7 inches, 17.8 centimeters. The weight of unprocessed count taken which does not exceed 7.5 ounces, 213 grams. The weight of partially processed market clean count taken which does not exceed 3 ounces, 85 grams. And the weight of fully processed fillet count taken which does not exceed 2 3/4 ounces, 78 grams. 2. No fisherman shall buy, sell, or have in his possession in Belize, fillet, or dice count meat other than market clean, except under a special permit issued by the Fisheries Administrator. 3. No person or establishment shall buy, sell, or have in his possession dice conch, strombus gigas, meat except under a special permit issued by the Fisheries Administration. 4. No person shall export or attempt to export conch more than any quota granted in accordance with the Fisheries Resources Act. The Fisheries Department advises the public to report any illegal fisheries activity by calling telephone number 224-4552 or by emailing fisheries_department@fisheries.gov.bz. And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Thursday, September 26th here on Ctv3 News and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/ctv3belizenews or our YouTube channel at Ctv3 News BZ. From all of us here at Ctv3 News, thank you for watching and listening. Good night.
Hey, who is this guy? Ready, Ram?